G'day, OMGers. I want to take this opportunity in this clip, this episode, to talk a little bit about the church in the Diocese of Waipu, where I'm diocesan bishop. It's not something I've spent a lot of time doing since we launched OMG. I've generally talked about concepts, what I would call gospel concepts like love and grace, generosity, forgiveness, liberation, etc. But I do want to talk a little bit about what's happening here in this diocese, in the Anglican Church in Aotearoa, New Zealand and Polynesia. And I want to do that because I think that it will hopefully resonate with those of you who are a part of what I call praying communities, wherever you are. One of the things that we've talked about over the last 3 years here, since my arrival and my consecration, is that during the halcyon days of the church, whenever those days were, where the church had the luxury of simply opening its doors and people came in large numbers to be a part of those communities. I don't know when those days were again. But typically speaking, I would suggest that in this part of the world, and perhaps in other places where there are European populations, those days are gone. Are they gone forever? I don't know that. I can't answer that question, but they do seem to be gone at present. It's a changing society, and there are many changes. I don't need to offer that sociological commentary. And typically the language that we've used, again, over the last 3 years, as a result of that, has been the church either changes or the church will die. And there's a sense of urgency in that rhetoric. What I'm about to say isn't necessarily a response to that. That early commentary really is an observation, but what I'm about to say is what I think is where we need to be as church, and where we're giving great intention and emphasis, as I said before, in this diocese. And that is living, breathing, working, playing, serving missionally. And so we talk about being a missional diocese, being a missional church. What we talk about again in that is that, I've used this language in homilies during Episcopal visitations throughout our parishes, that for the church we need to acknowledge that God is out there beyond the four walls of the church, and it is our responsibility, our duty, and our opportunity to find God and find out what God is doing. And we do that in the ways in which we encounter, engage, and interact with people in our communities who may have nothing to do with the church at all, but God is doing something in their lives. The other language that we use, which is our vision statement in this diocese, is we are here to know Jesus and make Jesus known. Knowing Jesus is about being in relationship with God, giving thanks to God, and we do that as a gathered community. And as a result of that, we can do nothing other than making Jesus known, which means, using the language of the First Testament, we bring release to the captives, recovering of sight to the blind, and setting at liberty to those who are oppressed. Now, this is not a sermon, but this is a reminder to us as church that we are here to find out what God is doing out there. And what God is doing out there, friends, is God is calling us, inviting us, encouraging us at every moment to see, acknowledge, and to embrace the needs of those, our neighbors, who surround us. If we do that, well, the church is a different place. Equally, importantly, the world is a different place. And we are knowing Jesus, and we are responding by making Him known. I hope that in places where people still open their doors of churches and people come in significant numbers, this is still a reality. That this mission is alive and well. And as I said before, this mission isn't about doing this because people no longer come to church in significant numbers in this part of the world. I believe that this is the way it worked in the 1st and 2nd century church and in subsequent centuries where people understood what it meant to be people of God, responding to the needs of their neighbors. So I hope in other parts of the world that we're taking this seriously too. Living out the gospel, living out our faith, making Jesus known, and being who God has called us to be. I offer these words with my prayers and my blessing, and I think of all of you who watch these clips as we share together in this social networking church and community together. Take care. Bye-bye.